Yeah.
Hi. Good evening.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, I'm here with Dinah, who's looking after the chat today. So it'd be great if you could just say hi in the chat, say how you're feeling. That'll be really good. Say where you're from as well. It'd be nice to know where you're from.
They're hot.
And yeah, everyone's very hot. It's quite warm in England, actually. Okay, so this is the second webinar of 4 webinars, 4 live webinars that comprise the live element of this Creating Shiatsu Treatment online course that we put together. I've got some polls to find out a little bit about what whether you've been on the online course, whether you were here last time. You might be watching this as a recording, that's fine too. We've got a bit of a packed schedule today. I want to review what we did last week, and also a little bit excited, as you might have heard when I sent an email out this morning, because we've been working on some really, really cool stuff, which we're going to share with you. We'll share more of that with you later, which is basically how do you decide what kind of exercises or what kind of recommendations you're going to give your clients. And obviously sometimes we give them stretches, points, blah, 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 all these different things. Why do we do those certain things? And we've been trying to work out a kind of system for that, because obviously it really applies to when you're doing online shiatsu sessions, because you're essentially giving guided recommendations. And of course, that skill is something that you're going to be able to take forward with you when you start working face-to-face again, because the same process is going to go on and it'll be that much clearer to you on how to help your clients. And as I said last week, one of the big surprises for us is we're actually getting results that often exceed what we would expect with a face-to-face session. So that's kind of something we want to continue when we start going back to face-to-face sessions. Okay, so just to remind you the course structure. Okay, there's 4 live webinars. This is the second one. We've got 2 more to come, obviously. We've got lots of fun stuff for you to do online. You've just got to make your way to the online course. And if you do that and you finish it all off, you'll get one of our brand new certificates. They've all been redesigned. And you'll be able to claim 8 hours of CPD or CE credits, which is, kind of good, isn't it? Right, so I'd like to just review. We're going to find out a little bit what you've been up to. And we're going to then review module 1, and then we're going to give you the themes for module 2 and tell you a little bit more about the course format. So before we go any further, about the webinar last week, I'd just like to find out whether you were at the live event last week, or whether you saw the recording, or you've not seen it yet, the live or the recording, because that gives me an idea of just how much time to spend on the review. And it looks like most of you, the vast majority of you, something like 80% of you were at the live event or saw the recording. Those of you who haven't seen it yet, it is on the online course. You can still get access to it. Recommend you do that. I'm going to review it now, give you a quick review for the benefit of everyone. And then we'll get on to today's topics, okay, which we're very, very excited about. Okay, so I'm going to just do a quick review. Here's the polls. Yes. Oh, yeah. And the other thing I was going to ask you, found out whether you were at the live event. The other thing I was going to ask you was, have you visited the online course yet? That's the asynchronous online course, which is where all the other resources are, where the quiz is now. Have you been on it? Let's see. I just want to have an idea of that. And it looks like, yeah, okay, over half of you have been and half of you haven't done. Now, that's okay, it's still there, it's for you. And obviously we're building up each week. We're trying not to overload you with stuff, just some fun stuff, some interesting stuff for you to look at. And also if you want the CPE and CE credits, then obviously you're going to have to go there, finish up everything and get the certificate, including taking the quiz, which is the quiz for module 1 is up now. We tried to make it as fun as we could. And it's also a very good review, but it also provokes you to think about things as well. So the quiz is part of the learning experience. I think you're going to enjoy that. Right, good. So let's just spend a few minutes. I'm just going to spend a few minutes reviewing last week. We told you about the story, and probably you're very aware that last month, when the whole lockdown thing started, we basically decided to open all our material up free of charge. We're working totally on donations. And we had a lot of experience very quickly because we put all of our treatments online and we started developing stuff very fast. And we put out a lot of webinars, which are still available. If you go to the homepage, they're actually in 6 different languages. This is the course overview. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but basically it's quite a comprehensive course we're putting together, and we're in week 2 now. Last week, we emphasized contacting your clients. Make sure that you have contacted your clients. Quite a lot of you last week hadn't contacted your clients at all, or had only contacted some. So hopefully you've put that right in the last week. We talked about using an EMS, which is an email management system or service, which basically, like MailChimp and that, which basically makes everything much more professional, covers you for GDPR, and saves a lot of time once you set it up. And it's not really that hard to do. We also really thought it'd be a good idea if you followed our lead on this and created even a small class for some of your clients. It's great use of your time, only spend an hour a week. You can do it on Zoom. We find that it feeds into the one-to-one sessions really well. In fact, I did a one-to-one session this afternoon with a client I'd seen many years ago. She had quite a lot of severe problems. She hadn't been to the Wednesday classes, and it was a little bit more difficult because I had to kind of go back to square one, get her to tune in. The clients I've had, that even new clients that I've never seen before that have been to our Wednesday class, have been so much easier to treat with self-shiatsu supervision. So it really does work. And if you want to check out the class, there's an invitation to the class on the online course. It'd be lovely to see you there. Okay, we suggest to use Zoom. You don't need to. You can just, kind of use Facebook Live or something like that. But Zoom is free now for a minimal setup. So I think it's probably worth doing it. You can record them as well, put them up on your website. All very cool. Okay, and then we talked about creating a one-to-one session. We emphasize that it really does work, that we're often getting better results than we would expect with face-to-face sessions. And you all guessed this. You all guessed the reasons why it was happening, why it's working so well. Definitely the clients are more aware of their energy processes. They are definitely empowered by it. They're motivated because they can feel the changes that they are making themselves in the session. So they tend to repeat the exercises. And if they've got a recording, it's even better. Okay, you can do it. I've done several over the phone. I did one this afternoon over the phone with a new client, like I say. And it's quite possible to do just with the phone, but you can use whatever type of communication you need. I would suggest using Zoom again, because you can record the session. You can always get them to close their eyes if it's too visual. Okay, then we talked about diagnosis, and we've kind of come to the conclusion here that there's only one of the 4 types of traditional diagnosis that's you're not directly able to do. Okay, you can do Boshin. You can see whether I'm like that. You can see that my energy changes. Okay, you can ask me questions and I can answer them. You can hear the tone of my voice, whether it's very monotone. Okay, or whether it's sing-song or I'm laughing all the time. You can do all those things easily when you've got a video link. But the one thing that's more tricky is Setsushin. So we've developed a kind of cool way of doing that. If you remember, which is basically we take the 3 burners, we divide them up into 6 different sections, and this is very effective even with new clients. They can tune in, they can find out what's going on, stomach, liver, covers all the elements, differentiates the burner, and it's kind of like really cool and quick and very easy to access. Okay, and this is kind of what it looks like. The chart, the upper burner is differentiated into the lungs and the heart, the liver and the stomach in the middle burner, and then basically people can usually feel the dantian or maybe the bladder, as opposed to the large intestine. So it's pretty easy even for a new client to tune into that. Okay, so that's a review of last week. We did a lot, and I would recommend that you have a look at the full video and take the quiz if you want to get credits for that particular module. There's also lots of other interesting stuff in there, including an entire treatment that I did recorded with one of my clients, which is really quite funny. And also, if you've ever seen an OTS, you'll recognize the guy because he's been in here and we've done an OTS with him when we were doing one-to-one sessions, face-to-face sessions. So, okay, cool. So we hope to see you on the online course. Those of you who haven't made it, there's slightly less than half of you haven't made the online course yet. Hopefully you can just take a time, maybe take half an hour out and have a look round between now and next week. Take the quiz. Right, okay, good. So now, today, what we're going to do, we are going to have a look at a little bit more of the shins, but we're also going to, the main thing we're going to do today is we're going to look at tonification, sedation, and technique ranges. And we've done quite a lot of work on this. And I'd like to take you through an extended practical session where you can actually experience different modalities and how they tonify and sedate different channels. I'm really looking forward to doing that with you. Okay, so let's think a little bit, first of all, about, let's just zoom out a bit and get a real overview of how we're going to work with our clients. And this applies just as much to face-to-face sessions, just as much to giving recommendations if you're doing face-to-face sessions as it does with doing online sessions. Okay, the main thing we want to know is, are they deficient? And this is in TCM terms. Okay, and the key question that you want to ask the client is basically, are they better for rest? Any of the symptoms that they have, if it's better for rest, that's a pretty good indication that they're generally deficient. So they're going to look tired, they're going to feel fatigued, the symptoms are going to get worse as they get tired, probably worse towards the end of the day. Okay, and if they rest, they feel better, then that indicates that they are deficient. And that makes quite a big difference in the way that we're going to recommend or how we work with them. Now, if they're more excess or stagnated, okay, the key question for that is, are you better for movement? So the symptoms you have, maybe it's headaches, muscle pain, stiffness, whatever, okay, is it better for movement? Yeah, I go to the gym, I feel terrific, I feel great, or I go for a run, I feel much better. It's worse in the mornings when I get up, I haven't moved, I move about and it sort of moves and gets better, okay? And that's an indication that you need a more sedating or moving session. And that's the first question you want to ask yourself, because that's going to take you down two slightly different routes in terms of what you're going to recommend to your clients. And if you're doing a face-to-face session, and if you're doing an online Shiatsu session, it's going to make quite a big difference to how you're going to work with the clients, okay? Because once you've got that basic overall feel, okay, you need to plan the session out. You need to have kind of an idea of what you want. You're going to have an idea from what we did last week, maybe which meridians or organs need working on. You'll get an idea of whether they're deficient or excess, whether they need to be tonified or moved or sedated, okay? And what we often use here is we use clean questions. So we'll say, what would you like to have happen? So if they say, oh, I want more energy and I want to be able to rest and I want to build myself up, okay? As opposed to, oh, I just don't know what to do with myself. I just want to just release of it. I'm just so wound up, okay? That will give you a bit of an idea of how you're going to plan out your session. Okay, so once you've decided that, then here are just some of the modalities that we use. These are the main modalities that we are using in our online Shiatsu sessions, okay? And what we've done here is we've kind of like placed them in a continuum from the most tonifying to the most sedating, okay? So basically what we use when we're doing it, and I'm going to take you through an extended practical exercise a little bit later in this webinar so you can experience them for yourself, so you can kind of get a real idea of it, okay, is we use internal breathing, and that's like internal Taoist type breathing, things like the microcosmic orbit, Dantian breathing, things like that, the locks, things like that, things that use the breath to tonify the chi of the body. Moving up from that, we also use Qigong, various different types of Qigong. Again, using the breath, using guided internal perception of the Qi to develop the Qi. We also do quite a bit of self-shiatsu. It's not all self-shiatsu, and sometimes, as you'll see if you look at the OTS with Chris in module 1, I do very little shiatsu with him, very little self-shiatsu with him. But other people, like I was working with a client this afternoon, it was pretty much all self-shiatsu, okay? And what that means is actually getting them to work the points. We've got them to do this in different ways, working the points in their own body, very much using internal interoception, so get them to close their eyes, tune into where the channel is, and get them to feel the effects of the points. Okay, so we use self-shiatsu points. And so now we're moving over to more into the middle. Internal breathing and Qigong tend to be more on the tonifying side on the whole, but we'll see a bit later. And self-shiatsu points can be either, depending on whether we use moving points or tonifying key points, okay? So then we move on to more stretches. And if you look at the OTS with Chris, you'll see I use a lot of stretches with him. I won't tell you why, because I want to put that in the quiz for this week. But yoga stretches. If you know any yoga, or you certainly will know the Makaho exercises, that's a good start. We're going to use them later. Those can be used to basically move the chi in various different ways. It's more of a moving type of technique. Again, it depends a bit on how you do it. And then finally, do-in, that's getting the client to give themselves a good whacking with the fists or the cupped hands. Okay, that's again, a more moving technique, and we use that quite a bit. Again, if you look at the OTS with Chris, you'll see I'm using that on the yang channels of the arm because he had a lot of problems with his neck and so on. Okay, so that's a bit of a broad, a sort of broad overview of the kind of 5 main modalities that we use. I'm sure you use them. You may use other things. I don't know. Within the self-shiatsu sessions, obviously there are a wider range of recommendations that we can make, like diet and things like that. But just for now, just concentrating on what we can do in the session, this is it, the broad overview, okay? Now, the thing is though, within each of those modalities, you can adapt them to be more tonifying or more sedating, okay? Because it's not what you do, it's how you do it that counts. I just want to take you through a few things, a few examples, okay? So internal breathing can vary quite a lot in terms of how moving it is, okay? Because you can do the yoga locks, which is very much like containing your energy. That's very tonifying. Directed breath, again, pretty tonifying, directing it into the organs. But once you start getting into more vigorous breathing, and if you've done any vigorous yoga breathing, you'll know exactly what I mean, like the cleansing breath, bellows breath, things like that. And especially when you get into really explosive breathing, the very strong explosive type breathing, you're going to be stimulating and moving the chi quite a bit, and you're going to be stimulating the nervous system as well. So it just shows you that if you want to, you can kind of adapt them. Okay, the same thing with Qigong, okay? You've got internal Qigong, you've got moving Qigong, and you've got quite vigorous Qigong, okay? And again, that takes you from the tonifying more into the sedating area. Self-shiatsu points, the same thing, depends on how you do it and how you direct their energy. You can use more moving points or tonifying points to create different actions within the energy field. And the same thing with meridian stretches as well. If you've ever done any yoga, I mean, I've done various different styles of yoga, and some of them are very tonifying, the more yin yoga, which is more slow and there's more breathing and everything. And then if you go on for the real high powered, like Ashtanga yoga, which is, you know, like really, really fast and everything, that can actually be very moving, very, very moving of the energy. So again, it depends on how it's done. And do-in, the same. Okay, I would say do-in in general, especially do-in compared to, say, breathing, internal breathing, tends to be more on the moving side and tends to be more on the sedating and moving side of this continuum. But you can adapt it. You can adapt do-in to be more tonifying. Basically, you make it slower, more gentle, use the cupped hand instead of the fist, things like that. And also you can use visualization with it. But generally speaking, if you've got instruction in a yang channel, you want to get it moving, do-in is your choice, really. Okay, so that's the basic idea. So I'd like to get some feedback on that. So just if you let me know if you've got any questions. Dinah, are there any questions so far?
Have you got any books to recommend for do-in?
Do you know, I don't know if there are any. There are a couple from back in the 80s. Yeah, there are a few, but I don't know of any. But the thing is, in a way, you can make it up yourself. If you know where the channels are, which I hope you do as a Shiatsu practitioner, basically it's just tapping along the channels. And you tend to tap in along the direction of the channels. Usually we just use the classical meridians. And then, you know, face routines, you can probably make it up yourself. But yeah, no, we can always, we'll do a little bit in a minute when we do the exercises, the tonifying exercises. Okay, are there any other questions so far?
They're mostly just technical ones, people not being able to open the resources, not getting reminders for webinars. So I promise that I will, I've made notes for that we can discuss our team meeting for tomorrow.
Yeah, okay, sure, yeah. I mean, obviously, if you get any problems, you can always email us or post on the forum. on the course. If you can get onto the course and something's not working for you, just post on that forum and we'll sort it out for you. Because every new course, there's always some glitches. It could be a browser issue, it could be all kinds of things, but we'll definitely sort it out for you. Okay, so the main thing is, are you happy? What do you think of it so far? Everyone happy or not happy? If you give me a few thumbs up, it just makes me feel like I'm doing okay. Yes.
And Cynthia says,
okay. Somebody says a bit confused about tonifying and sedating. Someone said, I saw that flashing past in the chat.
I already answered a question from Georgie about that.
All right, did you? Okay, yeah. Okay, and basically, if you've got, go on. Should I just answer that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She just asked if smoothing down the meridians wouldn't be more tonifying than tapping.
Sorry, what was that? Did she say?
She asked if smoothing down the meridians could be more tonifying than tapping.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. It would be. Yeah, it would be. But it depends. You know, you can use it by brushing off. If that's your intention, you can move any stuck energy there. But basically, the main difference between sedation and or movement and sedation, it's the same kind of thing, and tonification is basically, do you want to build up their energy or do you want to move it? If it's stuck or obstructed, and if there's pain that's related to obstruction, then you want to move the chi, okay? And the best way to do that, personally, I think, is doing. I mean, I've tried all sorts of things. Doing is really, really good. If you want to tonify their energy, if they're basically low in energy, then that's more difficult to do, and you need to take a longer term approach, because you might have to advise them with diet, lifestyle, rest, and things like that. But you can certainly start things off by basically tonifying the chi. And if you're not sure about the TCM theory, maybe you could check out the TCM course that's now free to access. There's a whole thing in there about production of ki and blood and how it's produced and stuff like that. That might be worth checking out. Okay, so without further ado, let's do some practical. So I've got about, well, I think it's going to take about 20 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. And to do that, you will need, I'm going to, Diana, if you don't mind turning your camera off.
Of course I do.
Yeah, and I'll turn off.
I had answered Georgie's question about sedating and tonifying, but not Petra's. It was Petra who was confused.
Yes, that's right. I just answered that, hopefully.
Yes, I think
so. I hope that's okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, if you have any questions, by the way, just get onto the course and put them in the forum, and we'll soon help you there. Okay. Just need to log in. I'll send you a link to the course after the webinar. Okay. Or you can just access it straight from the homepage of newenergywork.com. It's right there. It's right at the top of the whole page there. Really isn't difficult to find. If you have any trouble finding it or whatever, just email us and we'll sort you out. Okay. Because we want to see you on that course. Okay, cool. Right, I'm going to turn off the presentation now so you can get a full view of me and the room. There we are. Okay, and what we're going to do is what I've got to do. I've got it all prepared here. You see, I'm ever so prepared today. Oh yeah, I am really prepared. Right, what we're going to do is we're going to go through tonifying the kidneys, and we're going to try every one of those 5 different modalities, because what I'm interested in doing with you is to find out what the different feeling is, what the different effect is of these different modalities. So what I've done is I've actually made 6 boxes, and I suggest you do the same. Get a piece of paper, draw 6 boxes. Okay, and we've got breathing, qigong, self-shiatsu, yoga stretches, doin, and conclusion. Okay, and so I want you to, in the conclusion bit, you can tell me which one you like the most, and we'll definitely ask you in the chat, if not set up a poll for that. Okay, so let's try it. I'm going to take you on a bit of a journey now. You'll need a bit of space. We're going to work together on this, and we're going to try 5 different ways of tonifying the kidney energy. Now, the reason I've chosen the kidney is pretty obvious if you know your TCM, because obviously the kidney energy is the root of energy of the whole body, and also it's the one that tends to get deficient. When you get tired or old like I am, the kidney energy goes down and you tend to get more fatigued. Okay, so it's always a good idea to tonify the kidney energy. No one is going to complain if you tonify the kidney energy. Just give them a longer life and more energy. Who could complain, right? So let's try it. First thing you want to do is you need some kind of reference here. So I want you to assess your own kidney key by tuning into the dantians. And then what we'll do is we'll go through all those 5 modalities and we'll see which ones you love the best, okay? So first of all, let's just place our hand over the dantian, okay? Standing comfortably, feet shoulder width apart, relaxing the knees, relaxing the hips. That golden thread is suspending you from above, okay? What I'd like you to do now is close your eyes and just assess the amount of energy you have in your dantian, and that includes right the way through into your back. So we're tuning into this whole space here, okay? And we're going to see how much energy we've got there, what it feels like, okay? And then we'll do 5 different little exercises and see which ones we like the most, okay? Okay, very good. You've got a feel for that. Good. Let's go into the first one. And the most basic tonifying exercise for the dantian is lower abdominal breathing. It involves the locks and it involves containing your breath in the lower hara. So let's do it. Okay, you just like to close your eyes. We're going to breathe in through our nose. We're bringing the breath in, down into the dantian. So imagining the breath going down into here, underneath our hands. Okay, we're holding the breath. You imagine the lower lock just closing. That's around here, around the perineum, just closing, containing the chi in the lower part of the hara. We hold it. And then keeping the lock closed, we breathe out through the mouth. And we keep the chi down in the dantian. So just the air comes out and we breathe the chi in through the nose, okay? So breathing in through the nose. Hold it. Gently close the lower lock. Contain the chi in the lower hara. Hold it. Breathe out. Okay, one more. Breathing in. This time, really try and get it into your back. Okay, we're just going to hold that, relax, and just tune into your energy again and see how much change you've got just with those 3 breaths in the feeling of the chi in the lower hara. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my paper like this. Hope you're going to do the same. I'm just going to draw a little picture here of that bowl. And I'm just going to put some chi in there just to remind me what it's like. Okay. Okay, cool. So that's the most basic and in a way the most yin way of doing it is just literally breathing and holding the chi there with your mind. So now we can go a little bit more active now. We do some, again, very basic Qigong exercises just to contrast them. And there's a couple I'd like to share with you. There's this one where you stimulate the dantian, and there's this one where you stimulate bladder 23. Very similar, and they're a really good way of energizing and tonifying the lower burner. Okay, so look, hands over the dantian point. Relax your shoulders. Open up kidney 1. Connect with the earth. Float your head up. Okay, and then we're going to rotate the hands, okay? Very light touch. We're imagining the chi going through our hands and out the back, okay? And keeping the breathing nice and relaxed. You can imagine chi coming out of your hands, through your hands, and into the dantian. Keeping it relaxed. Okay, very good. Get the idea? You can feel it's much more moving, isn't it, than the purely breathing. But on the other hand, it's quite warming and kind of makes you feel a bit more solid. So that's tonifying. So now let's do this one. Place your backs of your hands over bladder 23. Relax your shoulders as much as you can. Keep that kidney 1 open, connected with the earth. Float up your head. And we are rubbing bladder 23, okay? And this time we're imagining the qi going this way into the dantian this way, right? So it's another qi going exercise, very similar, energy rubbing, not very physical, just like an energy rub. Very good. Okay, shake out your hands. Okay, and now I'd like you to just close your eyes and feel what your qi feels like in the dantian and into the back in the lower burner. Okay, how does it feel different from when we did just the breathing? Okay, and then when you're ready, just make a little note on your pad. I'm not going to show you mine this time. I want to see what you get. Okay, it was definitely a bit different from just breathing, wasn't it? Okay, but pretty good though. All right. Okay. Cool. Right. So now we go into self-shiatsu land. Okay, one of my favorite areas. I love doing this with clients. Okay, and I always tilt the camera down like this. I like doing it on Zoom so that they can see me and stuff. Have a lovely time. It's really nice at the end of the day as well. You've done a few of those. You've given yourself self-shiatsu with your clients. Feel terrific. Really good. Okay, so now why don't we tonify the kidney energy by using self-shiatsu? Why don't we use kidney 1 and kidney 3? Kidney 1's kind of an opening grounding point, but kidney 3 is probably the point of choice for tonifying the kidney qi. So let's see what we can do with it, right? So first of all, let's just access kidney 1. So I'm just pressing in here with kidney 1, and in a minute, I'm going to press kidney 3, but let's see if we can use interoception and internal awareness of the pathway to activate the pathway. I'm going to keep this arm really relaxed, open up the shoulder, feel the qi coming through my body, down my arm. Okay, and I'm doing this with my clients. I'm kind of coaching them on basically how to extend their qi through the hand. Okay. And what I'm going to get you to do now is just put a little bit of gentle pressure, just enough to activate the point, kidney 1, okay? And then relax this leg. I'm going to be in a comfortable position. And now if you close your eyes, I want you to visualize the kidney channel up behind the ankle, up the leg, and into the dantian, okay? Because it kind of goes internally into the pelvis and then goes into the lower hara, all right? So let's see how much we can do with kidney 1. So I'm relaxing, extending my qi from kidney 1. Very nice. I can feel it all the way up my leg, and I can feel it into the lower hara. Okay, not bad. Okay, opened up the channel nicely. Okay, just keep doing that. And now we're going to kind of turbo boost it. We're going to use this thumb. We're going to put that on kidney 3. I hope you know where that is. Okay, it's halfway between the medial malleolus and the Achilles tendon. Right here, there's the malleolus and there's the Achilles tendon. You just go back, and it's right there. Okay, kidney 3, the source point of the kidney meridian. Okay, get this. Okay, try this. Okay, so we're going to relax. See how I'm relaxing my arms? I'm sending my qi down my arms into my thumbs. And now I'm activating the channel. I'm opening up with kidney 1 and I'm blasting it with kidney 3, zapping it, okay? And let's see if I can get that energy right up into the dantian. Yep, okay. Just relaxing my hip a little bit so it goes up through kidney 11, in 10 and 11. Okay, and you notice I'm holding the points for quite a long time. That's because we're using tonification, okay? I'm using visualization. Do you know that actually feels pretty good? I can feel it strengthening my lower back. I can feel quite a strong sensation up into the pelvis as well, which is where the channel runs. All right, so that's pretty good. So we could hold that for another few seconds. Very good. Okay, cool. Let's try the other foot. Okay, I'll just come around so you can see. Okay, same thing again. Okay, let's get into a really nice, comfortable position. Open up kidney 1. Let's do it with this hand. Yeah, so I'm opening up kidney 1. Put my hand that way so you can see. Finding kidney 3. So let's zap it open first of all. Let's zap open the channel. Just going to close my eyes. Right on kidney 1 here. Okay, see if you can feel that channel opening up all the way into your lower back. Very good. Okay, and then we take this hand and we just contact kidney 3, zap it in with lots of chi, not too much pressure, just enough to activate the channel. Feel the connection between 1 and 3, and then zap it right up the channel, through the knee, into the hip, and into the pelvis. Very good. Okay, that feels pretty awesome, doesn't it? Pretty powerful stuff. Okay, so let's feel that. Let's just feel that building the chi in the lower burner. Okay, nice. Right, okay, cool. Let's check it out. Okay, so now I'm just going to sit in safer position and I'm going to check out and see what's happened to my dantian. So I'm tuning in here, visualizing the channels opened up. I can feel them nicely opened. Subtle difference between the qigong and the channels. So I'm going to have a write down now and write down what I felt with the self shiatsu. Okay, what happened? Now it's pretty different, but the end result was similar. Interesting, isn't it? Okay, right. So now we have yoga and stretches. You probably know loads of yoga stretches for the kidney and bladder. I mean, basically anything that bends the body forwards is going to stretch open the bladder and kidney meridian, isn't it? And of course, that's very much the case with the Makaho exercise. So why don't we just use the Makaho exercise? That's a nice, easy one. Everyone knows that, I'm sure. I'm going to just do that with you, okay? And we'll see what happens, okay? So let's do it like this. There's different ways of doing it, but what we'll do is we'll just reach up, open the toes slightly. That opens up the kidney channel in the leg. Bring your arms down, open the little finger uppermost. That opens the kidney channel in the arms. Those of you who know about Masnaga. Okay, and then we're going to breathe into our lower back, you see, like this. Keep it nice and loose, and then pushing forwards gently from the lower back, keeping the upper back as relaxed as we can. Okay, looking forwards. That's important because of the Z. We're looking forwards. Okay. And we're connecting that with the dantian. What does that feel like? Now, do you feel a lot of energy going into the dantian when you do the stretch? That's the question. Okay. So we're going to hold that. Let's do another breath. Okay, and then we're coming out. Right, let's tune in again. That was a very different feeling, wasn't it, from doing, say, the qigong? So let's just tune in. Very interesting. Okay, scanning your whole energy field. What do you think? Put it in here, see what's happened. Right, which just leaves us with the finale, which is Doin, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and make Doin as tonifying as I can, okay? And the best way to do that is to keep it fairly relaxed, fairly slow, and I'm not going to use any real heavy-duty moving type things like you might down here. I'm going to use cupping like this, which basically gathers the chi, that gathers the air, and it's very soft, okay? Tuning into the dantian. Shaking out. We're going to use cupped hands, and we're going to tonify up the kidney channel, and then just do a little bit of tonifying on the back with the cupping hands. Okay, that's it. All right, just one pass. I think we'll do it. Okay, cupping hands, kidney 3, tapping, nice and lightly. Okay, not too fast. Imagine the energy going up the channel. Imagine it going up, okay, and into kidney 11, which is right here on the pubic bone, top of the pubic bone. Okay, let's just do it one more time, nice and slowly. Think tonify. Okay, one more time. Okay, just do it 3 times here. That's a sort of standard Douyin thing 3 times. Okay, and then we can tap, if you've got the flexibility in your shoulders, to just tap around the lower back, energize the lower back. Okay, check it out. Okay, so now let's just relax, tune into your whole energy. Interesting. Okay, again, different from the other ones, isn't it? How much do you think it's tonified that energy in your dantian? That's what you have to decide. Okay, and then we're going to draw a little picture. See if you can express on the picture, slightly out of focus so you can't see. Oh, there it is. Express on the picture what kind of feeling you got from that. Interesting, isn't it? Okay, and then I want you to put your favorite tonifying exercise here in the conclusion. Which one did you like the most? It's really hard, isn't it? I think I might have to put 2. What about you? Yep. Okay. Right. Okay, very good. So before we get straight on to the sedating the gallbladder channel, which everyone needs. How did you find that? Let's just have a few people in the chat. Would you just like to tell us which of these 5 methods did you find the most effective for tonifying the kidney channel? Okay, what did you think? Let's just have a few sample chat messages just to give an idea which you liked, and I can tell you which one I liked afterwards. Oops, my chat is just so busy. Let's have a look. All right, okay, interesting. Yeah, we've got a nice big spread there. And you notice that actually, do you know what? The Douyin was, even though the Douyin was quite a moving, because we did it so gently and we used that cupping thing, I actually found it pretty effective, even though it's right over on the right-hand side of the continuum. Yeah, okay. So you all had your own preferences there, and it will depend a lot on your own internal energy condition, how extreme you are. If you get a client who's really, really extreme, maybe they've got severe ME, and they just literally don't do anything and they feel wiped out for several days, then really you want to pull it right over to that tonifying side, maybe just do internal breathing until they get stronger. Get someone who's much stronger, needs a bit more stimulation to get that energy moving, and you'll probably find the Douyin will be really effective. But the most important thing is you've tried it, and that internal experience that you've had is invaluable, because you can match that with somatic empathy. Thank you, Cindy Engel. Because when you tune into the client, you're going to be able to sense what kind of modality is going to be the best for them. So time is flying, and we need to sedate our gallbladder channel. I'm excited about that. So let's go. Okay. So you need another 6 boxes. I've luckily prepared one earlier. Another 6 boxes to record your experiences. Okay, and let's go. Okay, it's going to be much quicker, of course, because it was sedating. We're going to speed through it. And let's just assess our general feeling of stagnation in our body. Okay, so basically we're scanning our whole energy field, particularly the liver and gallbladder meridians, and just sense how much obstruction there is in your body. Have you got any stiffness in your body? And maybe it's difficult for you to twist to the sides. That will give you a rough idea of how much stagnation there is in your liver and gallbladder channel. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to do some very directed breathing. Okay, we're going to take a deep breath in, and I want you to imagine the breath going down through the gallbladder channel and out through the feet. Okay, so breathing in, breathing out, releasing. We do it 5 times. Quite releasing, isn't it? Okay, notice we had the movement there of the gallbladder 21 opening up. Okay, tune into your energy. Okay, so that's breathing. Now we do classic Qigong exercise for releasing the liver. It's anything that twists is good for the liver, as you know. We use the eyes, okay? So tuning into that feeling of that breath, moving your energy, and now compare it to this. We're going to look to the left and right. We're going to do it quite vigorously. We're going to slap our sides of our body, which stimulates the liver and gallbladder. Okay, as we go to left and right. Okay. Swinging your energy, swinging your body, releasing. Okay, very good. Okay, nice and vigorous. Okay, and we go back to center again and close your eyes, and you'll probably feel that stimulation down the sides of your body, feel a bit freer, can twist a bit easier. Just assess the amount of movement you've created in your energy. Right, okay, so now we've got self-shiatsu, okay? So we're going to use some classic points for that. Let's use the liver chi moving points. Now this is going to be a bit of a challenge because we're not actually moving as much as we are when we're slapping ourselves and twisting round, are we? But let's see if we can use the points and see what we can do, okay? So what I'd probably do if I had a client who had liver chi stagnation is I'd probably get them to massage their feet. I want to see some movement there around this joint here. Okay, because you probably notice when you've worked on clients with liver chi stagnation that this is often obstructed just around liver 3. The foot's very stiff. So we're going to shake the foot like this just to open it up. Okay, and then we're going to work along the liver channel. We're going to focus on liver 3, but we're not going to hold it for long. We're going to keep moving it, massaging it, pressing in, and then going up the liver channel. Okay, all right. So now as you're doing that, I want you to close your eyes, keep working nice and fast all around liver 3, and just see what effect that has on your whole energy field. Can you feel it moving your chi? Okay. Very good. Let's try the other foot. Okay, we're opening up the whole foot. Working down the liver channel here. Nice and quick work. Keep this free. We want to move that liver chi. So we're going back to the point, pressing it repeatedly, using both my thumbs along the channel here. Very different from when we work kidney in 1 and 3, remember? Very different technique, okay? Okay, I'm closing my eyes. I'm tuning into my liver energy in my whole body. Okay, and then just to finish off, this is rather a good one, freeing up the ankle joint, and again, moving that liver energy in liver 3. Okay, very good. Time to do some recording on our sheet. So we've got moving with the breathing. Remember when, what did that feel like? So draw that in. Qigong was the twisting one. What was that like? Okay, and then the self-shiatsu is the liver 3 one. What does that feel like? Okay, I think I might scan these in and put them on the second week of the course so you can see what I drew and compare them with yours and share yours. You can share your pictures on the forum as well. That would be great. We'd love to see that. We'd love to see any of your pictures. If you want to scan them or take a photo with your phone, anything like that. We love that. Okay, it just leaves us with 2 more, yoga stretches and doing. Okay, let's do it. Okay, so here we go. You must know this one. This is the classic Makaho exercise for the liver and gallbladder. So let's just see how much we can move our chi with this. Opening up the liver channel in the arm for those Masanaga people amongst us. Opening up the sides of the body, breathing in and breathing out. Opening the sides, breathing out. Okay, again, we're going to do it fairly quickly because we want to sedate or move the channel. Breathing again. And the other side. Opening up the sides of your body. Okay, very good. Stretching up, stretching forwards and releasing. Very good. Okay, and then finally, we do the doe-in. So from a theoretical point of view, this should be right up there with the best ways of moving our chi. So let's just try moving the liver and gallbladder energy. So we're going to just hold the elbow and we're going to work gallbladder 21. Okay, just a quick routine. Sending energy down and moving the liver chi. See, I'm working a bit faster than I did with the kidney, and I'm using my fist, using slightly stronger technique. Okay, and then down the side of the body. See, I'm tapping with my fist a little bit faster into the buttocks here. Gallbladder 30, and then down the outside of the gallbladder channel. Up the liver. And then down the gallbladder. Down the gallbladder. Up the liver. Okay, and then brushing off. Okay, whew. Right, let's tune in, okay? So we had the Makaho exercise and we had this doe-in exercise. So let's just record that. So we have the yoga stretchy Makaho stretches. Remember that? Opening up the sides of the body. How did that feel? What kind of influence did that have on moving your liver chi? Very interesting. Okay, and then doe-in, okay? How did that feel? I'm going to just draw a picture of the doe-in experience. Okay, and then finally, let's just stand for a moment. Just relax. And think back to how our energy felt at the beginning of the exercise. Remember, we had that explosive breath. Okay, we had the Qigong twisting. We had the self-shiatsu liver 3, vigorous movement and pressing. Okay, and we had the Meridian stretch. Okay, Meridian stretch. It's like a yoga stretch. And then finally we had the doe-in. So just thinking back over those 5, remembering the experience of those 5 things, just feel how much more moving your chi is now, okay? The effects of it will depend a lot on where you're at on that continuum in terms of deficiency and excess. But I'm sure you'll feel a lot more like your energy is moving. So now it's time for you to pick your winner. Which one did you like the best to move your liver chi? Okay, and I'd just like to see that in the chat. Okay, and what we're going to do now is we're going to do a poll. I'm going to do a couple of polls. Very, very interesting. Okay, yeah, you see, I'm looking at the chat. Interesting. Yeah, I think the doe-in's definitely come out just in a straw poll there, looking at what you said. It's you tend to be mainly using that. The thing is, it does depend a lot. I know the doe-in is the obvious one. Anything that twists and moves, but you see the things, it depends a lot on your own internal condition. So again, you're going to need to tailor it with individual clients. And remember what we said at the beginning of the whole thing. It's not what you do, it's how you do it, right? That really, really counts. So I really hope you enjoyed that. It's really made us really think about the recommendations that we give, and particularly as we're doing a lot of self-shiatsu supervisions now. In fact, our diary is pretty much full of clients now. We're really starting to think about what's the logic behind what we're doing, how can we be more effective, and how can we really direct those clients to get the maximum effect of those different modalities. Okay, so moving on. Thank you very much for that. Hope you're enjoying it. It's a packed webinar this evening, and I've just got 5 minutes left to take you through a couple of things which will set us up for next week. And the first thing is to talk about equipment. Okay, now I don't know if you remember, but back in the 80s when things were very different, I was working at Infinity Foods, and brown rice, organic brown rice was basically considered to be a lunatic hippie madness. Organic food cooperative, Infinity Foods, one of the first, love it down there, okay? Anyway, one of the things we were into in the 1980s was the Mar roller. And this was a wooden thing, just like the picture, okay? And what you did was you rolled your back up and down on it, and that's the sort of thing we liked doing in the 80s, okay? There was no Netflix then, okay? We can't find it anywhere now. We've searched online, we cannot find any being made in Europe anymore. You can get them in the US though. So if in the US, you might want to get one, or maybe you won't, because you can do the same thing with a tennis ball. And if you really want to find out a whole exercise subculture to do, yeah, great. Yeah, some of you are probably too young to even remember the age. So I'm showing my age here, right? Oh, look, we've got, no doubt someone's found a link now. Oh, look, that's typical, isn't it, of the internet? Someone's found, Fran, just wait a minute, Fran. Okay, look, tennis balls, you Google it, you'll find there's a whole subculture of how to use a tennis ball to relieve various different pains and things like that. And as Fran very quickly pointed out there, you can put them in a sock, and you can have it like a thing that you have down the bladder meridian. Very, very cool, very inexpensive. Okay, again, Google it, tennis balls in socks. You will be amazed. They are awesome. Okay, they're really good. Okay, now there's also these are my favorite things at the moment. These are like the sophisticated black version of 2 tennis balls in a sock. Okay, there's large tennis balls in a sock and small tennis balls in a sock. Okay. Yeah, exactly, Tina. You can do that, get them to lean up against the wall. These are Dura balls. I really like them. They're a bit firmer than a tennis ball, but they've got a bit of give in them, and they are superb. And I've been using them a lot myself, and I'm developing a whole kind of thing, which I'm going to share next week with you, a whole way of working the entire body. We'll cover as much as we can next week. Again, it'll be a very intense practical session. The thing I like about them is they grip really well rather than slippery socks. They're really clever. They're not too expensive to buy. I would get both sizes though, if you really want to get in everywhere. But tennis balls work fine, and you may already have them. Okay, they're also not as hard as a Mar roller, because it's the 80s were a long time ago, and I'm not up to it now. And the other thing, bit of a serious note here, insurance. I really don't think it's going to be too much of an issue, because basically the clients that book in with you are going to be desperate for any help you give them. It's very unlikely you'll get any problems with insurance, but you really want to make sure from a professional basis that you're covered. We've actually already checked up with the Shiatsu Society. Shiatsu Society, as usual, doing an awesome job there. Thank you, Shiatsu Society UK. Big shout out for you, all those directors there. Okay, and they've already got it all covered. The policy does cover basically if you're working online, but if you were in another country, we recommend that you do check out your own national organization. Okay, so waiting for you online, we have a replay of the webinars. Give me a moment, give us a bit to process this video, but it will be up online. We've got the slides from our client support class from module 1, really worth checking out. You've got a whole client, you can just have a look around, whole client session, OTS, which you can have a skip through. We've got the forms that we use. We've got all the forms nailed now. They're in the filing cabinet. I've given them to you in doc and PDF formats. You can print them out. You don't have to do that. Okay. We give you a link to the insurance as well if you're in the UK, so you can look it up and reassure yourself. And the quiz, spent a lot of time today doing the quiz, so please take the quiz and have fun with that. It's a fun quiz. Hope you enjoy it. Okay, great. Well, you should feel like totally tonified by your kidney, and you're free with your liver. So you're just set up for an awesome week. Okay. It's been a fantastic evening. I've really enjoyed it. We've had over 140 people on this webinar, and we've got an eye-watering number of people signed up for this course who are doing it, watching the recording. It's actually been our best attended course ever in the history of new energy work. So thank you very much. I'm just going to put a thumbs up to all of you. Well done for all your work. Hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you next week. Thank you very much, Dinah, for keeping tabs on a very, very active chat.
You couldn't just say the name of the duo bulls again, because I told someone to Google it, and then I tried Googling it, and it came up with rather rude things. So we don't.
It's called blackroll.com, but I'll put link on the online site anyway, and I'll put a link in the email that goes out next week. They're called Blackroll. Blackroll. I'll type it in for you. Blackroll duo course. There we are.
Thanks.
Okay. Right. Cool. Yeah.
Sorry,
okay.
I didn't get to answer all your questions. I was doing my best.
Yeah. Well, just go on the forum. It's lovely to see you there. We always like people posting on the forum. Post us a few pictures of what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay? See you later. And oh God, I nearly forgot. Okay, I'll send you a link to the course. And the other thing is money. I completely forgot. You may already know that we are working entirely for donations. We're sharing all the money out. No one's earning any more or any less than anyone else. And we survived last month only just. So if you want us to keep the lights on, and you haven't already donated, or you're not donating regularly, if you're donating regularly, that's awesome. Please, could you just think about giving us about 10 euros a webinar, which is what it costs us, or about 50 euros for the complete course if you want the graduation, that's what it costs us. Or if you're not affected too badly financially, you may want to consider, a lot of people are doing this, I found it amazing that they're doing this, they're actually donating double what it costs for the course, because that means we can give one completely free to someone who's in a lot of stress and a lot of trouble. Okay, but please only pay what you can. We know a lot of you are struggling like we are and just surviving. And if you're in that case and you really can't manage it, then we just have to rely on the community to support us. Okay, so we're praying that the international Shiatsu community can keep our lights on.
Here's some honeysuckle for you, everybody, from my garden.
Okay, see you next week for number 3. Okay, look forward to it. And don't forget, bring your tennis balls and a sock, or your exercise balls. Okay, see you next week. Bye.